Now, recently I bought a new ThinkPad, a ThinkPad x220, for doing few things that I was hoping to do, and I did some upgrades to this new ThinkPad. I added extra RAM. I also replaced the hard disk with an SSD, and right now this laptop is really good. I'm actually making this video on this laptop. But the good thing about ThinkPad X220 is that you can also have different. You can actually swap the hard disk quite easily, and there is just one screw on the right hand side of your laptop, which you can always use. I mean, just unscrew it and swap the hard disk. And I had Windows installed on one of the hard disks that I pulled out from my HP laptop, and I thought I'll probably use it. I thought of maybe restarting gaming. I have never really really been into. I've never really played games. I mean, I do have some experience playing games as a kid. I remember I used to play those popular games, Contra, Mario, and those retro games. But when I was in college, I used to play Counter Strike, little bit, not much. The only game that I played quite a lot was Quake 3 Arena, and I also played Delta Force. But that is it. So that is all the experience I have with gaming, and I thought, why not, get into gaming and try something. And I was, of course, exploring different games that you can play in Linux, and I will definitely talk about it. And if I can find some interesting games that you can also play, I'm still not exactly sure how this will work. I know there are some emulators, and of course, you can always play online games, but I was hoping to play some like proper games. But because I had that hard disk with Windows installed, so I thought I'll probably also use that Windows operating system for playing some games in Windows, because most of the games, or usually all the games, are there in Windows, and you can always play. I mean, you need Windows for playing games. That is one area where Windows really shines. And I wanted to talk about one thing. If you are following any or popular Linux YouTubers, they will always, or not all of them, but some of them will always talk about, or they're actually very vocal about Windows or Microsoft. I think, I have a slightly different view. First of all, I have been using Linux operating system for more than 2 decades, and I have been a firm believer in open source. But it doesn't really mean that I don't use, or I would never use Windows. There are different reasons. There can be different situations when you have to use Windows. Maybe you are working for a company, or maybe you are doing a project for a client and you have to use Windows, or maybe some other operating system like Mac OS. That is what I have been doing. For example, I have used Windows quite a lot in the past, and it was mostly when I was working for enterprise, for big organizations. So I joined a company where I was supposed to use Windows, and I was doing a lot of work on Excel, for example. I talked about this in the past, and I don't think I enjoy working on Windows as much as I do on Linux. Now, of course, there is no comparison, but I am not really against the idea of not using Windows at all. Being someone who has been using Linux for more than 20 years, and I use a lot of open source applications. So I'm okay with it. I'm totally okay with it, and I don't really want to convey this message or tell you that, okay, don't use Windows or don't use Mac OS at all. Talking about Mac, I have developed, or what happened once, one of my clients asked me to develop an app for iOS, and like iOS, not iOS, yeah, iOS, Apple app. I think it is iOS, yeah. So I did that development, and to develop the mobile app, I bought one iMac, which of course I used only for the mobile development. But apart from that, I have always used that iMac for watching movies because it is really good. Usually these operating systems, or I should say not operating system, but usually Apple is great, even better than other OS in terms of media consumption. I mean, the experience you will get is great, but apart from watching movies, I don't really think I have used that operating system for doing anything else, or that iMac for doing anything else. I never really got a chance to develop more mobile apps for iOS, but who knows? And again, if I have to use Windows or if I have to use Mac, I will use it. I'm not very strict with not using or using a specific operating system. Of course, Linux has been and will be my main operating system for ever, I guess. But again, if you have to use Windows for some reason, then it's okay. I think you don't need to be too strict about about these things. Do whatever works for you. Do whatever you have to do. Sometimes, let us say you are into open source and you like Linux and you contribute to the community. But what if you need a job and the company you're joining, they don't use Linux or the operating system of your choice? In that case, you will be using Windows, for example. And usually in big organizations, Windows is the operating system that is used because it works. That is how it works, and it works really good, I guess, in those situations where you have to manage computers of hundreds, more than maybe thousands of people. I'm sure you can do those things in Linux, but personally, if you have to use Windows or Mac, go for it. I'm totally okay with it. And if you're following a YouTuber who is saying, or who is probably saying bad things, or or maybe a bit vocal about Apple or Microsoft, I'm sure they have their reasons. And I'm not really saying I don't really think we should mix up things. I know that there are privacy concerns, but personally, I don't really think those concerns are massive for me. I'm a bit careful when it comes to using Windows or maybe Mac. I use them for other work, and I'm also concerned with. I do have those concerns about privacy and things like. Some people don't even use Google. I stopped using Google for searching, but I still use Google. I have my Gmail account, which I use. I also use Google Apps account, and I'm actually considering moving away from it. So wherever possible, wherever applicable, try to do the right thing and try to achieve things that you think or you believe in. But it doesn't really mean that you will never use Windows or Mac. I mean, if you have to, go for it. For example, right now, I am actually quite enjoying playing games on my Windows operating system, which is something I don't think I can do on Linux. I'm sure there are Linux-based games, and I will definitely play them and try them, evaluate them, and I will let you know. I'm not really going to start a gaming channel, but because these days I think I don't really do a lot of different things for entertainment, for leisure. So I think gaming is probably one area where I can probably just have fun, and I will be using Windows. So I'm not really ashamed of using Windows or Mac. For example, I do use Excel quite a lot, and I think I'm quite good in it. Excel is a good product. You can do a lot of wonderful things in Excel, like automation, VBA, and I was able to use Excel for doing a lot of wonderful things. And I think I talked about this. I think I shared one story, like how I got into Jira. So it all started with me being very good in Excel and VBA, and everyone in the organization, they were reaching out to me for creating automation rules. And I thought, because I'm good in something, I should probably use that knowledge to maybe write a book. And I did write a book on Excel VBA. Then I got the idea to also train others. Then I got popular in the company, where other people all realized that I'm really good with tools, and they asked me to move to maybe try something else, like maybe Jira. So I am not really totally against the idea of using these proprietary tools. Uh, if you have to, then I think you should. Don't really lose an opportunity because you don't really want to work on Windows or Mac. For example, if let us say let us say you're doing a business and your client is asking you to create a mobile app for Android and iOS. Android is of course Google, and of course iOS is Apple. Will you say yes or no? For example, when I was running my own company, I was doing development in Drupal. Of course, everything is open source. But one of my clients asked me, Ravi, we are looking for a mobile app that will connect to the website. Can you do it? I thought, yes, I can do it, and I would like to learn how to do it. It was interesting, and I definitely used that opportunity to not only grow my business but also to learn something. So I could have said no. I'm totally into Linux, open source. I will not really do anything with iOS. But I think when you take one opportunity, it opens doors for other opportunities, and try not to be too rigid about it. And that is what I thought I'll share in this video. And by the way, since I bought a Windows, since I have Windows on one of the hard disks, I'll probably plug it in and I'll probably play games, and maybe I'll do some reviews of those old retro games that I used to play as a kid. So let us see how it goes. Bye bye.